Hello. Hey. My name is Patience and I'm a sister lock consultant. I love sister locks so much. I love sister locks. I love little locks in general. So micro locks as well, smaller traditional locks. I have nothing against the larger traditional locks. I just love little locks. I love the versatility. I love the beauty. I love all the things. So, as you can see, I have some, and as you may have seen, they're coming out. So as much as I love my locks, sadly, there's a lot of damage that has occurred over the almost 4 years in November, over the 4 years that I've had them. And some of that is on me because I did not do everything right. You're supposed to braid and band until your hair is fully locked up. And I got tired of it and I'm like, I'm not going to do it. And so what ended up happening was I got bunching that happened. Of course, I can't find one right now, but bunching. So it's like bigger than it should be. And it actually creates weak points in your locks over time. So, and you're pulling that through the base of your lock on your scalp. And over time, that can create tension and create tension alopecia. I don't want that. So also, some of it's on my part, the damage, and then some of it may also be on the person that established my hair. They were a trainee at the time. There's a lot to learn, a lot to grow from, and I enjoyed our process overall. And because there was damage and different things like that in my hair, I've been able to freely experiment with it. Like literally cut off a lock and reattach it. By the way, so I'm a sister lock consultant. I went through the process. I loved them so much. Went through the process, got certified, all of that. I love sister locks. And so I want to represent the brand well. And I thought it was worth starting over, taking it out, starting it over. And of course, from a distance, it's like, oh, they're beautiful. And they are. And I love them. And it's taken a long time to get them out. And every lock, I'm like, why am I doing this again? But the biggest thing is that I am a perfectionist. And I want to be extremely proud of my locks. And I want to be able to point to them and say, oh, this is what sister locks look like. Because right now when I point to them, I'm like, this is generally what they look like. But don't look at this section. Or, the front looks really good, but there's certain parts back here that I'm like, not as much. But I love them. I still love them. But I do want to get another set of locks and then just be done with it. I want to be done with it. So I'm going through this process and it's painstaking. But I saw some other people on YouTube go through and pretty much take us through the process of how they took out locks. So that's what I'm going to do too. So, if you didn't want to hear all the talking, hopefully you fast forward through all that. But I did want to give you a little bit of background. Okay, so that being said, first of all, this is how much I've taken out so far. Yeah. So I have 2 sections. I'm so proud of it. Y'all, it took me forever. Glory be to God. All right, so I have this out. Also, side note, if you're doing this, it might be a good idea if you're deciding to take out your locks. It will be a good idea to go ahead and get your whole head retightened first, so that you have plenty of time to take them out before you start looking crazy. So not that I look crazy, but I definitely noticed. I've been going for probably. I've missed 2, maybe 3 reties now. So my new growth is right here, which wouldn't be a problem maybe if my locks aren't so small. So because of that, it's like I have ones on the edges that were like dangling, like tighten me. I'm like, I can't, I don't want to do it. So I went ahead and combed some of them out. So I have like a section right here where I combed it out. Some, sadly, they didn't make it, y'all. They broke off. And that's the risk that you take when you are combing them out, is that you are going to have breakage and your hair is going to suffer. But you can manage some of the damage, the inevitable damage, by just being gentle. And for me, I know that if I'm rushing and trying to take it out, I'm not gonna be careful. I'm not gonna do a good job. I'm literally just ripping. So of course you have to be patient with yourself. Here's my other section. I'm actually surprised at how much length I've retained, but I also know that I'm going to have to trim it either way. So I'm not gonna try not to get too attached to it. But yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. So I don't want to tell you how long this is taking to get this out. Now, first of all, I'll go for weeks sometimes without taking any out. Especially because events have come up and I'm like, I can't be looking crazy at this event, or I can't be looking crazy when I'm traveling or whatever, but I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and go for it, because we can't live like this anymore. So yeah, so I would say this all this probably took 2 months, y'all, because I haven't, like I said, I haven't been consistent. I don't know how many locks total this probably would have been, but in general, I don't have 400 locks. That's the other thing. I wanted them to be a little bit smaller. With Sisterlocks, you're supposed to have smaller in the front, medium, it's the tapered sizing. Medium, large by the time you get to the very back of your head, and then it goes medium, small again. So smallest ones are along the hairline, nape of the neck, and then medium meets into large. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, so I didn't quite hit 400. Not that 400 is the magic number, but it is the general average. But some people have less, some people have more, depending on your head shape, density of your hair, all of that. So anywho, I saw this tool on YouTube. Another YouTuber was using it to comb out her locks, and this is a tick and flea comb. It's like a pet comb for ticks and fleas. And it's perfect. I love it. One, it's got a grip. First of all, it came off of Amazon for like $4, $5. It has a grip, so you can. Also, these are metal, so you know you don't have to worry about it snapping while you're trying to comb through. I don't have the coarsest hair. It is dense, so there's a lot of it, but it's not super coarse, so it's not what you think of when you think of nappy, so to speak. And you can kind of tell because some of my ends are open, but some of them are also open because they were braided, so they took longer to lock up. And I actually like them, but I didn't know that they had been braided also. So anyway, so this has been my main one that I use. I use a conditioner also, which is this Trader Joe's Trader Joe's conditioner, which I love. Is maybe $3-4. I use this as a loose natural, and I love it because it's got good stuff in it. It's cheap, it's easily accessible if you have a Trader Joe's around. If not, you can order it. And it gives a lot of slip to the hair. So I've used this. I wasn't prepared, y'all. I also have used this. I've gone through different phases. So this is a detangler. Honestly, it's nothing special to me for locks, but it gives it a little bit of slip and kind of softens the hair a little bit, so that helps. Sometimes I just spray water on it just to dampen it a little bit because your hair is more pliable and it's strongest state when it's wet, actually. And then I still don't know how to say this, jojoba oil. I use that a little bit because oil for Sisterlocks, if you didn't know, is a no-no. You're not supposed to put it on there until it's fully locked, and even then, I mean, you're not supposed to be putting it on there. And it's good to not put oil up there because it gives your scalp a chance to produce its natural sebum, which is actually better for your hair than any oil that you can put on it. So the jojoba has kind of helped, again, to soften up my hair as I'm combing through. And one thing that I have noticed is that I don't have a ton of residue within my locks. So that's one thing you have to think about when you have locks. You can get buildup and residue if you're using a ton of products, if you're putting oils, if you're putting creams and this and that and all of that up there. That stuff gets trapped in your locks. They do have detoxes. People do detoxes for their locks, and you know, when you shampoo, you get a measure out, but there's still some that will get trapped in there. So in this journey, I've learned that I did really well by not putting a bunch of junk. I won't say junk, but I did really well by not putting a bunch of stuff on my hair. Now, when I got married, which was 2 years ago now, I did put something in my hair that wasn't like Sisterlock approved. But since then, I haven't put much. I think I did like coconut oil one time, which you're not supposed to do that either if you're not locked up. by that point I was mostly locked up. But yeah, I was curious to see as I'm combing out how much residue I had, and I did not have a ton. So the areas I did have residue so far has been the very nape of the neck. So the ones that came out back here had residue in them, and I think it was like leftover shampoo that I didn't get washed out. So it kind of looks like lint. I know people say, oh, I got lint in my hair, and it could be lint that you have in your hair, but it also could be that you have some kind of product residue that's attracting dust and dirt and skin cells, and it's all sticking there, and it looks like lint balls. So that's what I had at the very back, and yeah, that's what I had at the very back. So it's good to know, but as I've gotten deeper into the jungle, I haven't seen as much, actually hardly any residue at all. So that's been really good, because it's good to know whether or not I'm walking around with stuff trapped in my locks or not. Okay, so I'm trying to give you as much as possible, but I also know, I'm not trying to keep this video too long. So the other tools I used was just, hair ties, and then also these hair clips, just to pull hair out the way. And then I did also use the rat tail comb. Now, I've heard of people using like safety pins and other sharp devices, and I tried that, y'all, but I kept stabbing myself. So I was like, I can't do this. It's not worth it. It's not worth my fingers, especially since I'm a consultant and I'm using my fingers like all the time. So anyway, this was a little safer, and I could not use this for the little tiny ones. The little tiny ones, I definitely use this. And now when I do it, I start with this, and then when I get up to the thicker part of the lock, then I'll switch over to this and chop through it. And so I'm gonna do one. I need to grab something real quick, but I'm gonna do one for you so you can see what it looks like. All right, so I've been traveling with it. Don't judge me. Just in case I have a moment, then I can like work on it. It's kind of ghetto, like in the park or on the plane. Don't judge me. Okay, so I have my little water bottle, and it actually has the detangling stuff in it too. It's like water and the detangle stuff. And then I have the Trader Joe's conditioner. All right, so what I do is choose the lucky lock. Let's see, I don't want to choose you. And I learned from somebody that, how you have the bud on the end? Some people just cut it and then start taking it out. But if you can actually start unraveling at the bud, you can save a little bit more hair. Now, either way, you're going to have to trim it. But I think maybe even psychologically, it helped me a little bit to feel like I'm being gentle. Okay. So let's see. Who is the lucky lock? There's one that I started, but I don't know if I can find it. Let's see. Yeah, okay. All right, so there's one that I started, so you can see it's being unraveled bit by bit. Also, my system has been to kind of work around the perimeter of the back and perimeter of the sides a little bit versus all the back and all the way up. Just because, like I said, I've been going to events and whatnot, and my hair is fuzzy on the edges, which is fine, but it's unusually fuzzy. And then I also didn't want it to be look super thin in the back because I've taken out so many. So anyway, I guess it's unavoidable. I've been trying to prolong how noticeable it would be for as long as possible, but I'm starting to be over it right now, especially because the winter. The winter is a good time to lock up your hair, since in general, you may not be sweating as much in the summer, unless I guess you're working out intensely. And then it's cooler. You may not be swimming and stuff like that. So anyway, all right. So here's my lock. Yes, this looks cute. Okay, that's enough. All right, so I try to spray and dampen the whole thing, which it dries as long as it takes. Here we go. Here we go. All right. And so then I take a small dollop of conditioner. And when I say small, I mean large. Boom. All right, and then, okay. And then I put it on the lock. And then, actually, I gotta wipe my finger. I keep a paper towel with me or a towel or something because it's hard to grip when your hands slick. That almost rhymed. Okay, so that's what I've been doing. Gradually working up the lock. Like this here. And I have to be gentle. Even though my hair is dense, the strands themselves are very fine, so they snap pretty easily. Maybe if your hair is a little more coarse, you can rip through this bad boy, but I can't do it. So I hit spots that are like knots almost. I don't know if you can see it well, but they're not really knots, but when you start the lock, you basically create what's called a matted base. And that's usually what this part is. Like, she created a matted base, which she did a great job with that. So I try to gently kind of chop through it. And sometimes I put the comb right in front of it, and then I kind of, like, I don't know, try to drag it down, I guess, gently. Yep, so, okay. The other thing you should know is that you're gonna lose a lot of hair. And technically, you've lost it already because it's trapped in the lock. Like, it comes out your scalp, and instead of shedding or being combed out or brushed out, it's trapped into your lock. And that's partly what makes your lock swell up, is that you have all this trapped hair in there that normally would shed, and now it's just creating volume in your lock, and that's why it looks bigger and juicier than when it first started. So normally, you know, I have a lot that's shed, and when I first started, I was surprised at how much was in the sink and the floor, and I'm like, good gracious, this all came from one lock. So if we make it to the end in a reasonable time, then I'll show you how much came out. But I may not, we'll see. All right, so we're making our way up. Doing good. As you can see, it's not a ton of breakage, but it's a fair amount. Sorry, I realize I'm wearing a black shirt and my lock disappears. So I go just above where I last combed and try to chop my way through it. So this is actually going faster than it usually does. Just trying to show out for the camera. Right? Excuse me, I hope you didn't hear that burp. But if you did, oh well. All right. So at this point, my lock feels dry again. So I'm gonna spray it and kind of reactivate the conditioner that's up there. Wipe my fingers. Okay, we're doing good. Feels like we're over halfway. The saddest part, if you've ever taken out box braids or Senegalese, anything like that, you know, like when you get to the top, then you can pull out, you know, the hair that was added in. And to me, that's very satisfying. But when that happens with the lock, it's horrifying. Because you think you got all this length. This happens, y'all. It happens. Think you got all this length, then you get to the top and you comb the last bit and like a whole bunch comes out. You're like, no! Well, I'm like, no! And then, I get over it and move on. But still, we'll see if that happens with this one. But I hope not. Lord, preserve my hair. Preserve it. Alright, so again, gentle is key. Feels like it dried again that fast. But yeah, I guess I've employed different techniques, like the little choppy one, or a longer drag, like that one that I just did. And then maybe if I hit one that's really hard, then I'll chop it. And sometimes it'll almost be like a knot that I comb down to the bottom. And so what I'll do, which you may have done this before, if you have a knot, you basically pick it strand by strand like this until it's all out. Yep, it's all free. Okay, so I do that and then just get right back in it. Okay, we're almost there. So I would say when I first started, it probably took an average of like 15 to 20 minutes for each lock. And now that I'm getting to the larger ones, it doesn't take quite as long. Maybe, how long has it been? I don't know. I honestly don't know how long it's been, but maybe the average is closer to 15, like between 10 and 15. And I've had some that were quicker as well, instead of 15 to 20. So hopefully as I go along, my pace will speed up. But again, I guess the goal is just to preserve as much hair as possible because I want it to be healthy when I get it locked back up. Like, that's the whole point of having sister locks, is having healthy hair. So if you can start healthy, then you set yourself up for success. So if that means that my hair needs to be loose for longer than longer than I would like so that I can get it back healthy, then so be it, because I don't want it all broken up and stuff going to the locks, because one, it's hard to lock broken hair. Well, it's not hard, but you have to leave out some if the ends are uneven, which some people don't mind that. But yeah, you just want your hair as healthy as possible. I know it's like a big thing with the loose ends now, and I really enjoyed mine. They were not intentional, but I enjoyed them, and so I hope to, when I do it again, to have some too. But I guess my big thing is that I don't want to compromise the integrity of the lock. So I know in general, you have to be careful with essentially what you're asking for. So if you want a lot left out your lock and you're trying to lock up, like, it may actually take you longer if you don't have a sturdy lock base because you wanted your hair out, than if you had just locked it and maybe combed it out, or locked it and went closer to the end. All right, this one is giving me run for my money. So I have a patch down there that is knotted together, feels like, so I'm doing the little strand thing. Okay, we're almost there. Almost there. And that's the other thing, I have to keep reminding myself to be gentle with the pulling too, because I'm not tender-headed, so sometimes I don't realize how hard I'm pulling, and that's how I lost one of the ones in the front. So while I was combing it out, I didn't realize that I was putting a lot of tension on the lock itself. And so I actually got up here and it just came off. And I'm like, no! No! But yeah, so. All right. We're getting there. I may have passed gas. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. All right, we're almost there. I'm gonna spray it one more time. And hopefully that will bring us home. See how it's like way thinner as it gets to the bottom? That's the breakage part. But there's still a lot that's salvageable, so I'm not mad. I counted the cost. And y'all, part of the problem, but part of the reason why I'm doing this also is because my sweet husband does not want me to cut my hair. And so, part of me was upset at that at first, and then the other part of me was like, challenge accepted. I think I can do this, and I kind of want to. So here we are. Because I surely was going to cut it off or let it grow out until I couldn't take it anymore and then cut it off and then like put braids in there and stuff. But anyway. Okay. See how much new growth that is? It's a lot back there. Also, I'm excited about getting them in and going through the process again because I really enjoyed every stage of the process. I know you hear people talk about, I don't even know what the term is anymore, but when I first got them 4 years ago, they were like, oh, it's the wet chicken look. Or, I don't know, whatever descriptive, sad, strange looking animal you can come up with, that's what they say you look like. And that's not true for everybody. For some people, maybe. But I didn't have that experience, and a lot of my clients have not had that experience either, where it ended up being way more full. That's how you say it. Yeah, than they had thought, and then I had thought. And yeah, so I love my little baby locks and, seeing them start to swell up and seeing all the little curls because of my, hair texture. And then also documenting it, and looking back at where it was and then where I was currently, after 3 months, after 6 months, after a year, after 2 years, after 3 years. It was amazing to see the development. And it's funny because I got Sisterlocks because of versatility. But when I tell you, I mainly wear my hair down. The only reason I put it up is if I'm going to like a really, really nice event. And even then, I might still like just do a braid out and wear it down. Or if I'm just doing stuff and I need it pulled up out of my face, then I'll pull it up. But I love wearing it down so much because it's something that I couldn't really do with my hair texture when I would have twist outs and stuff like that. It was more fluffy than anything. It wouldn't really have weight, to be able to have movement and stuff like that. So now that I can wear it down and it has movement and it blows in the wind, and then once it blows in the wind, it falls right back. Yeah, you can't tell me nothing. So as I'm reminiscing, I'm getting sad because I know that it's coming out, but it's only for a time. It's only for a time. Okay, y'all distracted me. Let's see. All right. So let's see if I can go up here. Nope, that's not a good idea. All right, as you can see, I am not a pro at taking these out, but I will be by the time I get to the front. But I'm gonna miss these babies. They've been through it with me, through the beginning of marriage, well, I got them right when I started dating my now husband. So it's been, through the dating process with me and through engagement and then marriage, moving, changing careers, starting my own business, moving again. It's been through a lot. It's been through the hard times, recovering from burnout, and it's been through the good times as well. Just exciting developments in my life. I would really like to have my Sisterlocks back in before I start having babies. That's the goal. And honestly, it'd be nice if they were like mostly locked up too before I started having babies. But we'll see. We're praying about it. Okay. So as you can see, I'm kind of pulling stuff out from the top. I actually don't know why I'm doing that, but okay, there we go. Okay, almost there. So this is the part that I told you it's like sliding off. No! All this hair came out. I feel like I just combed it for nothing. Oh gosh. Okay, so let me show you how much came out. I'm collecting it. Okay. All right, so this is how much came out from the lock, which is a lot to me considering how small the lock is, but it's not terrible. And then this is what we have left. So after however many minutes, felt like it was closer to 15, maybe even 20, I don't know. But this is what we have. It's not in the worst condition ever, but yeah, you lose a lot. So you have to know that there's a chance that, you take your hair out and it doesn't look like it did before when it went in, which that's a high probability. So just prepare your heart. But anyway, okay, so I wanted to show you. I hope this is helpful to somebody. Other YouTube videos have been helpful to me. So yes, I'll come back eventually and show you either further along in the process or when I'm done. Hopefully it's when I'm done. But anyway, okay, thank you for watching.